Hello friends, welcome back to my fitness and nutrition journey. We are on week 12 and I'd like to hop on here and talk about the goals that I'm tracking and any experiences I've been having this last week. So to begin, hydration was fine. I got it every day. Sleep, because of the holiday of 3 days of partying with friends and family and staying up late with family that's coming in from out of town, I didn't do so good, but that's to be expected in my mind for these kind of times. So in the last 6 days, I've got 3 days I got the sleep that I wanted, but I'm expecting it to go back sort of normal. It's not as much normal as it has been recently this next week, but there was just a lot of time waking up early, cooking a lot, and hanging out with friends late at night. I will weigh in tomorrow morning, and I've stuck with weighing in every day this week. It's just kind of a habit now, and it was also helpful, and I'll explain that later. For exercise, I was able to do all my exercises, even though Thursday and Friday were considered holidays, but I did stick to it. I have not really journaled this week, which once again, I'm not surprised because it's not a normal week. For steps, I've reached my steps every day except for Sunday, which is fine because I consider Sunday my rest day, and I did rest. But that being said, my goal is 7,000, and on Sunday I got 6,000, so it wasn't that big of a difference. Fiber, I really haven't been tracking a whole lot of days because 3 of the days I didn't track my food, and the 2 days I did track, it was at 19 and 20, which is average. It's not as much as I want it to be, but I also wasn't doing a whole lot to try to tweak it either. And then I did rest on Sunday. Well, sort of. Because we had family and everything in town all the way through Saturday, my normal prep on Friday and Saturday for the next week didn't happen, so it got put on Sunday. And so on Sunday, we ended up planning our food and grocery shopping and also helping out family. So my rest consisted of watching 2 videos on YouTube in the evening before bed. It's more than it was, so I consider rest. In terms of nutrition, like I said, I didn't track Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and on the days I have tracked so far, the lowest was 1504 and the highest has been 1666, which is not bad. And like I said, I kept in the habit of weighing every day, which was actually comforting because it wasn't a big surprise when I went to weigh myself later. You know, I was able to track it and see how I was responding to the holidays. And I was very surprised because on the first day, my weight didn't change at all. And then it spiked, which was to be expected. But you know, today's Tuesday and my week with the trainer ends on Wednesday, and I'm already now back down to actually less than it was when I weighed in last time, which is wonderful because I was like, how in the world am I going to lose this much weight? Because my goal is to be at 200 or below by the end of the year. But December is full of celebrations. I mean, this next week we have 2 parties already. I'm like, I don't know how I can, because on this one, you know, even yesterday I was at 206. And I'm like, how can I lose 6 pounds when we have so many celebrations coming in? But today I was down to 203. I'm like, okay, 3 pounds is doable. But if I spike every single time we have a celebration, then it's going to be challenging even to lose those 3 pounds. But that is my goal. I don't really want to maintain and gain. I want to maintain or lose. And so talking about the holidays, there was one misunderstanding with family about eating less, which I'm not surprised because it's definitely a change in routine. Most times I'm in there with everybody else enjoying large portions of whatever the special food is. But this time I intentionally ate less. And I ended up moving a lot more because one time I ended up skipping breakfast and going for a walk. So my steps were really high that day. And like on another day, we went to an event and I ate, and I don't, you know, compared to other holidays, I didn't eat a whole lot, but it was enough to make me uncomfortable. So I ended up going for a long walk at the gathering just because my stomach was bothering me so much. Which really makes me think that my stomach must be shrinking for me to be that sensitive to food quantities. Because like after the meal I was fine, and I had 2 small pieces of a dessert and I was fine, and then I gave in and had a couple more pieces of dessert, and that was it. That was too much. But it was nice because I was able to go for that walk. It was crazy cold, but I had a sweater and a hat. And by the end of the walk, I felt better. So that was comforting. Let's see. I did end up bringing the food I planned to bring, and throughout the weekend, several people came up and thanked me for the healthier options, which was a blessing. And like I said, if I wasn't doing this, I know I would have eaten a whole lot more. So I think I did well in controlling my portions. I did notice, one, my stomach got fuller faster, so my stomach is shrinking. And the other thing is I can't handle straight sugary foods by themselves anymore. Because like I had bought those special cinnamon rolls, and I was like, I'm going to indulge in one for the 3 days. I'm going to have one. And then on the other breakfasts, I'll bring my own breakfast, which I ended up doing. But I had like the cinnamon roll for the second day, and I was so jittery and so like nauseous. It was not good. So, and that also happened with some desserts as well. So I found out that I cannot have straight sugary things by themselves. I have to combine it with protein in order to feel better and not so unbalanced, which is not a bad thing. It helped balance things out. I think next time I'd probably want to volunteer to be the last person in line going through food, so that I would have the opportunity to slowly go through and make choices rather than just feel like, okay, this is the next plate, put some more on your plate. Because I think I might have made different choices if I didn't have the rest of the line around me. But overall, like I said, I think I did pretty good. And there's that temptation of, especially with Thanksgiving, we have so many leftovers. We need to eat leftovers the next week. And you just need to not track for the next week. And I had committed to not tracking on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And when Sunday rolled around, I was like, I have to start tracking again. And so we went over for a leftover lunch, and I pulled out the food scale and I weighed out my meat. And my breakfast was turkey, a tossed salad, and then a serving of broccoli salad. And that was more than enough for me. I made sure I got all the protein I needed, and that meal was still larger than I usually have, because my meals are typically like 450, but I purposely had a small breakfast because I knew that we're going to have leftovers. And so that meal was like 650. And even then that felt like a lot. So it's interesting that I've been doing this for so long, for 12 weeks now. Now, that being said, I've only really been tracking and measuring food for 6 weeks. So I've been doing it for 6 weeks. And when you're doing it daily, you don't really notice changes. But when you start challenging your routine and trying other things, then you find out, oh, I have changed. It is making a difference. But I was very grateful that I was able to keep up with my exercise, so that I knew I was doing everything I could do to combat the extra calories and put them to use in exercise. And it also made it so when the week rolled around and my exercise started up again, it wasn't like some foreign thing that I haven't been doing. My body was expecting it and used to it. So, made it through Thanksgiving, and like I said, next week we already have 2 Christmas parties on Saturday and Sunday. In fact, we have multiple Christmas parties on Saturday. We have to choose which one we're going to, which is hard. But it feels like everybody's trying to get their Christmas parties in early. So I know next week we have 2 days that I will not be able to track because of the parties. But my goal is to eat normal breakfasts and eat normal lunch so that as much as possible things are normal. And then just try to be that last person in line on the 2 parties so I can make wiser choices over my food. I might even eat a lighter lunch or lighter breakfast so to make room for whatever we end up having, because I am not in control of those parties. I'm just contributing. I'm sure we need to bring like a side dish for both of them. I need to verify that this weekend or this week. So I would love to hear how your holiday week went and how it impacted your goals, and if you're able to stick with your goals or the compromises you were able to come to. And like I said, in the grand scheme of things, 3 days out of the year is not a big thing. I think when it starts spreading into, well, we'll eat leftovers for this next week and I can't track for a whole nother week, and it really becomes you're not tracking for all of December and part of November, that would definitely derail efforts. But I feel like even though I ate less and I was still moving a lot, I did have quality time with my family. I did have time to talk to people and love on people and provide nutritious food. So overall, I think the holidays went well, and I hope yours did too. So like I said, leave a comment below talking about what your plan will be for this coming December and how your Thanksgiving went. Until next time, feel free to like and subscribe.